Oh my goodness, goddess. I had to share where this was going. I was just finishing up doing these special, brand new, bringing it back. For You Fridays is what they were. What they are now. They used to be, was it Tarot Tuesday and Which One Wednesday, I believe, where you get to pick a card and I private message you a usually 59 seconds because of it's Instagram is where this is. It's on Instagram. That said, I had just recorded those. And I was shuffling the cards to be open to receive the next batch. Because I'm going to say I'm actually feeling like expanding and doing these more than just on Fridays. However, for now it is on Friday because I do enjoy this. And something else I'm mixing up is I love the perspective of the square on this. And I usually, it's interesting how in some ways I'm in the box and in other ways I'm totally free. And this is what was really coming up right now as these cards were coming out, the messages, and I had to, again, being called to share these with you. So this is just a bonus empowerment message coming through for this Friday, the 8th. Yes. And that is this whole breaking free. You have to be the one to claim your freedom. You have to be the one to take the action to move into that space of claiming your freedom. And trust that every action you take is the action that brings you closer to your freedom, because freedom is the outcome that you are aligning with. Meaning to be fully embodied in this. Yeah, I know it can be challenging to feel fully free to be who you are, to be all that you've come to be. This is what this freedom card is about. It's freeing yourself from your own inner prison and putting you in a corner. Even I admit, goddess, because this, you better believe this message is for me too. And this is one of my, when I do my regular, empowerment messages or intuitive readings videos for you guys, I'm again kind of practicing that space of how, what energy really truly I want to be in when I bring those to you. But this one's a little different. This one's got me in a little different energy space in the sense of I was shuffling. I was just shuffling the cards, and I was going to lay out, like I said, 1, 2, 3 for the next set that I would do. That said, again, what we do is we are the ones that lock ourselves in this prison in our own mind, in particular, in our own minds. And this mental prison is the very thing that keeps us in a perceived physical prison where we don't go anywhere. And right now, I confess, because it's been my thing before this whole nonsense started happening in the world and we were free, truly, well, not as free as we thought we were, and I do realize that. However, I have planned to be traveling the world, building my business, running my business, I should say, running my business, serving my clients all around the world while I'm on this whole journey for myself completely as well. And ever since my twin flame, now, let me preface by saying Empowerment Experiences was divinely envisioned. Download. It was just nonstop. I meditated all the time. And I have to confess, I am not meditating near enough lately or for a minute. Okay. And that's changing. Again, changing. This is, what it is to shift into that. You have to be the one to take that action and trust that the action that you're taking is aligning you, because you're listening to that intuition. You're tuning in, you're following your heart. You're not in that, oh my God, I gotta do. So Empowerment Experiences was originally this whole vision of global impact. Empowerment Experiences did not begin online. It began as it was 8 weeks long seminar. And it's this whole incredible, like, all of my programs now don't add up to the phenomenal that is this massive, and you better believe, $10,000 course. I mean, it's an entire web of empowerment and we know how strong, yet flexible spider webs are, right? It's all about being that. Anyway, so Empowerment Experiences was created as a vision to be global, but it would be having seminars around the world. Well, that just my sabotage ended up totally getting the best of me, because I am a girl from the sticks of Kansas. I moved to Arizona to move eventually to California, thank God, because I am not a California girl. Arizona stuck, and so I stayed, but things didn't quite go as planned. Of course, number one, I was not super specific about what kind of escort or what kind of model and actress I was talking about. I didn't realize that an escort is called a model and is a model specifically, and you play the girlfriend. I didn't quite do that, but the thought of being in all these other places, and it's not like I didn't go. I went to Mexico. I've been to Mexico twice. I went to Mexico for my first time in high school. So I have, in my past, my old versions of self are in this very small comfort zone. I mean, let me tell you, sister, when I moved to Arizona, I decided one day, 4 days later, I was fucking here. I pulled up in front of a house at 10:30 at night that I was going to be crashing at pretty much, with a soul sister of mine in her room that she was renting. Okay, so it was a little crowded because there were 2 guys that were staying there too, in each their own rooms. And I bawled my eyes out probably halfway here. From Kansas City, Kansas. That was where I left out of, was in Kansas City, Kansas, and drove south to Texas and then west to Arizona. And it was so freaking scary. I didn't cry when I went to India, of course. I was so fucking excited. Oh my God, the energy that was in my body for my, inspired by my counterpart. I was in such a space as it was, but this is why when I tell you, Goddess, that you've got to already be in that energy, and then what happens is when you and your counterpart are aligned, holy balls, that energy just becomes amplified to the infinite fucking level. Okay? And this is why it's so important for we each ourselves individually to do that work on ourselves. There are some, because those who are part of my group know how I can be about the twin flame community, just because of what I experienced in it as someone who didn't even believe really in the concept of twin flames. I mean, I'd heard about it, but I had no interest with my history of what it had been. And when RV appeared, I was not looking. I just knew I needed to follow my intuition. And it was like it had a mind of its own, but on a level, in a space that I had never, in a dimension that I had never before experienced. I mean, I ended up in India with him in a hotel less than 4 months later, after we met, on the other side of the world. And even though Empowerment Experiences had been a vision of seminars and traveling around the world, when I met my divine masculine, my counterpart, when I met him, I didn't even own a passport yet. And my business was almost a year old at that time. And I really can honestly say I didn't have any immediate plans to get one until he appeared. Everything does happen for a reason. It's the ego that wants to play the victim, and so anytime there is that blame, that finger pointing happening, this is why I'm going to this place, all these storytelling and all of this that I have for you. And I got to keep in mind that the timer, okay, because of the file size, but all these stories, all of this is leading me back to this whole freeing yourself. You've got to be the one to create that freedom within yourself by freeing yourself from the prison in your own mind, from your own limitations within yourself. And that means to take that inspired action outside of the box, and that's what Abraham talks about. You've got to get ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. And I confess, for more than 2 years, I planned on this. And this was coming after he and I began separation. It was that I knew I needed this. I knew that this is what, oh my God, like it is the decide one day, 4 days later, I move here kind of thing. I mean, to a certain extent, I have a landing runway, so to speak, a landing strip. Because the first time, like when I moved out here, it was my soul sister. When I went to India, it was my twin flame. Now, as I'm going back, it's going to be my own experience, but also I do have other soul family in India. So it's very exciting because my mind keeps telling myself that I'm not going back for him, but we all know that there is definitely a massive part of me that is like, but I'm just here in the back saying, I'm fucking going back for him. Like, I don't know what y'all be thinking, but I know I'm going back for him. Y'all be going back for whatever you want to do. But I'm the one in here that's going back for him. So yes, there is that part. But there's all the other, so to speak, the parts, the soul journey of exploring the different parts of myself. That eat, pray, love thing. It's like, for me, I've up and moved across the country. Okay, bucket list, check. I've flown around the world, check. But I haven't lived around the world. So 1, 2, up level, next, this is next, and this was that. But I have to, this is what I was saying though, when taking that inspired action and the trust, why trusting is, because if you're not trusting that it is happening, that it's already yours, and you're not getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready, what's going to end up happening, which is exactly where I find myself, is really being tested in my way of patience, in my way of forgiveness, in my way of surrendering, because I'm now finally learning Hindi. I am finally going through more and more of my stuff and going to be packing and figuring out what, how things are going to be, because I'm going to have to get a storage unit and all, and then booking the flight and booking where I'm going to, communicating with where I'm going to stay, because I already got where I want to stay to start figured out. But that's the other thing too, is what the ego also wants to do in this prison of the mind of wanting to control everything, is the ego wants to go, oh my God, okay, but what about when we get there? What about, and this builds and builds, and what about when this happens? What about when this happens? And it's like, stop, just get there. Just get there. And then be present moment oriented. Be focused in the present moment. Free my own self from my own mental prison. Free yourself from the prison that's taking you out of this present moment, out of your mind. That's what taking action is. When it's intentional action, when it's inspired action, that is the thing that is breaking you out of that limitation space of the mind. And that is where your joy is. That is where your passion is, where your freedom is. It's outside of that. And you have to be the one to claim it. It is about trusting that, number one, what you've asked for is already yours, but number two, that everything is going to work out. And in this trust, showing that you trust, it is you taking that action. Again, my example, starting to pack up my stuff, because here's the other side of this. I had already planned this. I already put this vision out to the universe with the intention that last year, September, when my lease was up, I was going to jet set around the world. I was going to be heading first. It was going to actually be to Bangkok first, not India first. But since India is familiar right now and with things going on, I'm definitely leaning more towards, obviously, India first. So I can kind of get out of myself to get comfortable being out of myself a little more. All right. And that's why it's kind of like getting back to, but a new version of this, of where I'm sharing more, because I have, of course, as a coach, as a leader, as an influencer, I have my own visibility blocks, we call them, in my business, where, oh my God, I'm going to be judged. Oh my God, they're not going to like what I have to say. I'm making a fool of myself. I'm talking, we gotta, yeah, it's a thing. Okay. It's a thing. And I am very much that person where I can get out of that. And when I do, I'm fun. But when, again, I'm in that prison, it's not so fun. And I know you feel me, goddess. And this is why I had to share this message. And everything herein is that you've got to trust yourself to take the action that's freeing yourself from the way things have been and aligning you with the way that you'd like them to be, trusting that that is already yours, but you've got to get out of your own way and align with that. You've got to get ready to be ready, to be ready, to be ready. You've got to be embodying that state of being, embodying that experience as though it already is, because it is. And this means to take the action where you can. When I went to India, goddess, and I admit, I have not had the energy, the gusto, because the first time it was, oh my God, it was for my twin flame. It was a whole nother level. Now I'm having to allow myself to see within myself the greater depth of strength within me that he only amplified. It was already in me. And I have that motivation, that inspiration, that, again, strength and courage to do this. Because it sounds so crazy. By myself, pretty much, I'm doing it. And it's so exciting to me. I'm so excited. I mean, remember, I'm a former pimped out, drug addicted prostitute. Let me tell you some of the shit that I have walked into. Goddess. I have my own moments going, what? Yeah. So trust, all right? This life is temporary. The soul is infinite. And wouldn't you rather have had a fucking awesome temporary time than a shitty, boring, traumatizing time? I know I've had enough of so much trauma. It's time to break free of... I have moments where I'm fucking petrified going, I'm doing this, and in this crazy time, like it's already October, what? Like technically 3 years ago, this past Sunday, I replied back to my twin flame love for the first time after he had messaged me on September 20th. And then it was October 30th. 3 weeks from tomorrow will be 3 years to the day that I booked my plane ticket after manifesting a $2,000 lump sum into my PayPal account. I booked a plane ticket, round trip, to Goa, India. Now, let me point something out, goddess. I hadn't even gotten my passport yet. Okay? I certainly did not then have my visitor visa for India, which, by the way, I had to apply for twice. So you want to talk about every step of the way requiring me to step up to the plate and rise to the occasion. This is why I know for me, again, this mental prison. My mean girl want to be like, you know, I don't have any more fight left. And it's simply that I know that the ego is trying to sabotage the soul calling to take off and do this. Because here's the thing. Remember when I mentioned that it was my intention, at least last year, to close out the house, you know, put my stuff in the storage anyway? I already had some of these lists, okay? These checklists. Put these things into storage and jet set around the world. Well, lo and behold, my landlady, because the notices are coming to the house, decided to stop paying the mortgage. And yeah, I've gotten a few notices, and the management company is not communicating with me, and it's an adventure. However, I'm sitting here in this space going, Rochelle, the commercial visitor visas are being released from suspension. They're opening back up. They're being, you know, commercial air, everything's opening back up. Some sense is finally coming back to the world, but day by day. And because I have a soul sister in Vrindavan there, and we're planning an empowerment experience over there. That's a little peak too. That's why I'm like, oh my God. And that's what's got me kind of going, oh my God, I have that to plan too. Oh my God. Like it's butterflies in the tummy. It's so expansive. It's so petrifying, but it's so exciting all at the same in the same breath. And like I said, there's the, you know, and when I think about that me, like the rebel me, the one that's like, and I never had mohawk hair. It's like black mohawk hair, like a goth version of me, kind of maybe, you know, sitting in the back of the room, kind of like, I'm sure shit going for him. I don't know what y'all doing. Like, you know, she'd be sitting there all sexified and shit, I guess. You know, I don't even know. I don't know why that's what's in my mind. So if that resonates with you in any way, I'd love to hear, because why am I seeing that? That said, there are all these other aspects of India, a place that just feels energetically so familiar. Because there wasn't a moment there that I felt anxiety other than when we had missed each other when we first got there at the airport. That was my thing, was, well, where was he? That was the anxiety, so to speak. That was the worry. But in terms of, oh my God, I'm in a foreign country. Oh my God, even going through the airport and getting my luggage and things, I just kept breathing and anchoring into my empowerment tools. And it was so fucking exhilarating. And that's the thing with this taking action is, you know, and getting in alignment is we don't want to have to do everything all at once. And me right now, that's kind of where I am. I'm doing almost everything all at once again. But at the same time, danger, I laugh in the face of danger. A little bit of a deadline kind of thing, I guess. I thrive in that when it's something like this, when it's something that is a passion thing, when I get to really truly harness my gifts and the energy in this world to create what I desire to be creating, such as a trip to India. So that said, this is where we are. Freedom. You've got to take that inspired action. Trust that whatever you desire is already yours. And see, this is my Pegasus. She's white. It is white. Yeah. And so for me, and look, to have another like Pegasus it's just I'm telling you. All that power. It is in your hands, goddess. All this power, it's in my hands. I did that. It's the fear. You cannot let fuck the fears, man. Fuck them. So that said, just immerse yourself as often as you can in things that feel good. This is why, yeah, I love doing these and recording videos, and it's time to not be, oh, I definitely see that I'm doing this to myself in my business as I'm trying to squeeze myself into it needs to be a certain way. I got to do it structured. Where it's instead, it's like, Rochelle, you are an intuitive. You are even a manifesting generator. You know, we tend to, we can do both sides of it. You know, but it's about having that balance. You know, we're not a manifestor or a generator. We are both. And I, being a Gemini, is very much about cultivating that balance within. So that said, I had to share this. This was where all of my, so much of my entire awakening in terms of doing the work intentionally got to. I don't want to say began, because it began way back in 2012, but where it finally was like things were really starting to come to me and guide me even more so. And my Angel Tarot deck, which is over there, was where doing cards all began. And I feel as though there's a part of me that's being a little judgy because I didn't begin with these cards. I didn't begin with this intuitive side like this. It was intuitive coaching, you know, self-love empowerment coaching. And, but it was more of the interaction with your 3D experience, as well as the energetic perspective of it and what it is to anchor, you know, to reclaim and anchor into your power, to take that shit back so that you are creating a life that you love on purpose rather than creating one that you'd rather escape from on accident. So that said, dear Goddess, thank you so much for sharing in this message with me. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, Freedom Friday. That's what I'm uploading this now, and it'll get uploaded pretty quick because it's less than 30 minutes. And I will share this with you guys for Freedom Friday. So thank you so much. Please comment, as always, on any of my videos. If anything resonates with you, I'd love to hear how any of my messages, any aspect resonates with you. And if you have any questions or on things you'd like me to expand on, by all means. I am a wealth of information, a wealth of wisdom. I like that, a wealth of wisdom from that which has been my intense going and growing journey here. And that said, dear Goddess, I'm sure I didn't mention it at the beginning, but my name is Rochelle, for those who may not know. And I will see you for Super Sign Sunday, the regular empowerment message, tomorrow evening. Remember, the power is in your hands, Goddess, because it has always been inside you. Namaste.